To my surprise, this Charge Barbarian build is the fastest build I have ever played to level to 100. I have played in all of the previous seasons, and this build is simply fast. We don't really have to do the Damhan dungeon, but this is the footage to showcase how fast this build can be. To begin the fight, we use our main skill Charge, which pushes the mobs forward and hit them at the end. Most mobs can be one-shot during leveling. If you hit a pack of mobs using Charge, the skill will become available right away, so you can use it again and again to push through high mob density areas very fast. In Season 3, Blizzard simply increased the charge damage by 10x, which makes the skill very strong for leveling. I have used this skill to complete the tier 96 vault already. It is very promising for the endgame as well. With the cooldown reduction stats on the gears, which I will talk about later, the charge cooldown is brought down to 9.26 seconds for me, which can be better of course. The power charge skill reduces charges cooldown by 3 seconds for each enemy it hits up to 9 seconds. This means if you hit at least 3 mobs, your charge skill cooldown will become close to 0 right after the skill ends, so you can almost spam this skill all the time. If some elites are not dead at the end of the charge, you can use your core skill such as Holda or double swing to finish them off in no seconds. Because I played Holda in the last season, I choose to play double swing in this league. Maybe eventually I will switch to Holda to one-shot the bosses, but we'll see which boss to one-shot, the duel. For the gears, on the helmet, we can use Iron Blood to get more damage reduction. Look for damage while berserking, total armor, some resistance, and also cooldown. Cooldown is very important. Later on, if you find helmet of Husk helmet, so this is really good for even more damage and also a little bit defense. And the chest, I'm not having a perfect chest here. Ideally, you should find a chest with total armor, a resistance, 2 stats for damage reduction, and I can find a better rolled Juggernaut aspect on this. And for Juggernaut, you won't be able to see this in town, but if you go to the battlefield, you will see a lot of increase in the armor. And then I don't have a good glove yet. Ideally, you should look for critical strike chance, attack speed, strength, and also plus rank to double swing. And for the pants, 2 damage reduction stats, total armor, and plus rank to charge. I have a disobedience aspect on this one, and this might not be really necessary, and later on if you find the People's Will unique pants, you can use that one to boost up to 40% multiplier damage. And by the way, for the aspect on the gloves, I'm using Ancestral Charge. So this Ancestral Charge is the iconic aspect. It will basically, instead of 1 charge by yourself, you will have 4 ancient to do the charge at the same time with less damage, but this will enable your AoE damage quite a bit and feels really good to play. And then for the weapons, I think we should get something like all stats, strength, damage to close enemies, and also damage while berserking. As you can see, I don't have the perfect roll yet on all of the weapons. And for almost all dual wielding build, we will have this Magnum Opus unique sword, and this is really good for the unique stats. You basically get a lot of damage multiplier by using this weapon, and the losing 2 fury per second is nothing in the later in the game. And for the amulet, I have a pretty good one in my opinion here: movement speed, fury cost reduction, and also cooldown reduction, and plus rank to the charge. And for the aspect, I'm using Anemia here. So this is to have a chance to stun the enemies, and it will enable you to feel really safe while leveling. And for the rain, look for critical strike chance, damage to close enemies, and also damage while berserking, and resource regeneration. On this one, I have limited reach to boost damage multiplier. On the other rain, look for the same stats, and I have Unrelenting Fury to get Fury back whenever you kill an enemy or damage a boss. So this is really good to get your Fury back. For the boots, we have movement speed, 2 resistances, and also Fury cost reduction. You can also use triple or even 4 different resistances here. But for me, I think I almost kept all of the resistances instead of the poison resistance. I think this is fine for now. Skills, we start from basic skill using Dungeon Strike Enhanced lunging strike. Early on, when you don't have Berserker Reaping aspect, you can use Battle Lunging Strike to inflict bleeding damage at the beginning of the leveling, but you can drop this one later after you get the Berserker Reaping aspect. You can also opt in to put 1 point in Outburst and also 1 point in Tough as Nail to deal some bleed damage whenever the mobs hit you, but this is really passive. You may not want this because you are stun all of the enemies on the way and charge them to death only from one hit. But this is really up to you. And for our core skills, we're using Double Swing, put 5 point here, Enhanced Double Swing and also Furious Double Swing. So this will basically keep you berserking probably all the time. Together with some other skills you will see later, so you will basically have 100% uptime for berserking most of the time. And then 3 point into Imposing Presence for increased additional maximum life. 18% is pretty good. And I have 3 point here to basically increase damage reduction from Elite. You don't have to use it early on during leveling. You can instead put 3 point into Swiftness to get a lot of movement speed. 12% movement speed will let you feel the difference. And 1 point in Challenging Shot, Enhanced Challenging Shot, and also Tactical Challenging Shot. 1 point in War Cry, Enhanced War Cry, and also Mighty War Cry to get more Fortify. This is the main skill: Charge, Maximum Assault, Max Assault, Enhanced Charge, and very critical using Power Charge to get cooldown constantly when you hit at least 3 mobs. So this will enable you use the charge a lot of the time when you are leveling. And 3 point into Aggressive Resistance to get more damage reduction while berserking, and also more fury generation while berserking. This might not be necessary later in the game, but for leveling, I choose to use this one before we find the unrelenting fury aspect. And then for Battle Fever, you basically get 3 seconds of berserking whenever you charge. This feels really awesome. And then more damage multiplier to close enemies. And then 1 point in Thick Skin to be able to get a 3 point in Counter Offensive. So this is basically increased damage multiplier when you have Fortify. You can have allocate point here later when you get the Warbringer aspect on the Paragon. But before that, if you cannot get Fortify constantly, so don't use this 4 point. Instead, you can use this somewhere else. And then for ultimate skills, 3 point in Duelist to increase attack speed of your double swing. That's gonna kill your enemies, even bosses, really fast. 3 point into Wall-Off to get more damage increase. And then 1 point in Tempered Fury to be able to get a 3 point in this Invigorating Fury to basically heal you for a life after spending 100 Fury. And this happens almost all the time. And very importantly, to use Wrath of the Berserker, Enhanced Prime Wrath of the Berserker, and Supreme Wrath of Berserker. For the key passive, we use Unconstrained to increase the duration of berserking and also increase the damage bonus while you have berserking, as we are having berserking 100% of the time. So this is really critical for damage increase. We use Two-Handed Axe Expertise. And then for our hats, on the right, you can see we use Flash of Adrenaline. I think every class is basically using this. Cooling Stone, and also together with Tactical Support and also Duration Support. You are basically burning down the cooldown of Flash of Adrenaline to 12 seconds. And this will last 12 seconds as well. So basically you have this 90% or even next level, which is max 20% damage multiplier all the time. And then on the left, we have Tempest. So we want this pet to apply resource back, fortify, and also damage reduction to you constantly. So we want to pick a pet or a skill that can do damage really fast. So Tempest, which has a speed of 0.9 seconds, is really good here. But to be honest, I don't feel a difference of the pets at all, because these damage multiplier are always on, and these are also always on, and the effect of these are not really noticeable. But well, this is the season of the pets. It's better to have them. Either way, I hope for the upcoming patch, we're going to see some significant change. Please read the planner website linked in the description for more detail for Paragon boards. So basically, we start picking up some of the life, physical damage, armor, physical damage to get us started. And then we will get Blood Rage as soon as possible. So this will basically give you a chance to get Berserking for 5 seconds. And we are basically inflicting bleed all the time. So this is very good to have nodes. And for this exploit, we can come back to this later. And then you go to the right to grab Carnage. This will give you a ton of attack speed. And then put Ire here to get a lot of damage while Berserking. So these are multiplier to our builds, which is very important. Damage while Berserking, and come down here to get Warbringer. So this will give you 45, and also very consistent 45. After picking up this legendary node, you will have 45 almost all the time and have full 45 for the entire fight. And definitely grab a lot of Fury, maximum Fury, Fury on kill, some more life, damage will 45, and also even more Fury. Fury is very important to get a damage boost for our build. And also get Brawl node here. So this is really to increase the damage of our charging. So I'm still experimenting using charging as the main skill, and then using double swing to finish off the mobs and the bosses. And so far it has been working pretty well until tier 96. I'm going to see how this turns out to be for tier 100 later. And then lastly, get a little bit more increase of the damage multiplier with Decimator legendary nodes. And then we put Territorial here to get more damage to close enemies and more damage and damage reduction nodes. If you want to see more content like this, please smash the like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to never miss a video.